In a courtroom filled with tension, cameras, and spectators, one of the most shocking scandals involving a reality TV family finally came to a head. Darrin Kitchens, a figure who had long lurked on the periphery of the Shannon family's life, found himself facing the full weight of the law. The moment that sealed his fate came from an unexpected source. Lauryn "Pumpkin" Shannon, Mama June's eldest daughter, who had spent years in the shadow of her mother's tumultuous life and the glare of reality television fame. The drama unfolded over several weeks of testimony, legal wrangling, and the presentation of evidence that painted Kitchens as more than just an unwelcome guest in the Shannon family saga. He was accused of manipulation, exploitation, and criminal behavior that targeted vulnerable members of the family. What made this case especially explosive was Pumpkin's decision to step forward as a key witness, breaking years of family loyalty to expose the truth. Darrin Kitchens' association with the Shannons began quietly. Initially seen as a friend and confidant, he gained the trust of family members by presenting himself as a supportive figure. According to testimonies, Kitchens ingratiated himself by offering guidance, gifts, and seemingly sincere friendship to the family. However, cracks began to appear as financial discrepancies and questionable behavior emerged. Lauryn Shannon recounted moments when she noticed Kitchens' controlling tendencies, manipulative conversations, and attempts to isolate family members from those who might challenge his influence. "I knew something was wrong," Lauryn testified during the trial. "It wasn't just small lies or mistakes, it was a pattern of manipulation, and I couldn't stay silent anymore." The revelation shocked many, considering Pumpkin had previously been protective of her family's privacy. Her decision to testify against Kitchens not only placed her in the public eye, but also marked a turning point in the investigation. The trial itself was nothing short of a media spectacle. Reporters, social media personalities, and reality TV fans packed the courtroom to witness the unprecedented trial. Cameras caught moments of raw emotion. Mama June crying quietly as her daughter spoke. Legal teams exchanging intense arguments, and Kitchens' reactions as damning evidence was unveiled. Key elements of the trial included exposing the lies. Prosecutors meticulously presented records of Kitchens' financial dealings, phone messages, and documents indicating a calculated pattern of deception. Witness testimonies. Beyond Pumpkin, several extended family members and friends testified about Kitchens' behavior, painting a consistent picture of manipulation, coercion, and exploitation. Pumpkin's emotional account. Lauryn's testimony detailed personal moments of intimidation and pressure. She revealed how Kitchens attempted to control her mother and younger siblings, using fear and charm to mask his actions. After days of intense deliberation, the jury delivered a verdict that stunned the public. Darrin Kitchens was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Legal analysts called the ruling a landmark case in protecting high-profile families from predatory individuals, and reality TV fans expressed relief that justice had been served. Social media erupted with support for Lauryn, Mama June, and the family. Hashtags praising Pumpkin for her courage trended for days, while discussions about accountability, family loyalty, and the dangers of outside influence dominated conversations across platforms. Outside the courtroom, the Shannons faced the daunting task of moving forward. The trial had exposed long-hidden tensions, financial struggles, and vulnerabilities within the family, forcing them to confront not only the legal ramifications, but also the emotional toll of betrayal. The air conditioning in the Wilkinson County Superior Court had been broken since Tuesday, but the heat in the room had nothing to do with the Georgia weather. It was the friction of betrayal. On one side of the aisle sat Darrin Kitchens, the 48-year-old self-proclaimed financial guru and business manager. On the other sat the family he had sworn to protect, the Efirds. For 3 weeks, the jury had heard dizzying tales of wire fraud, shell incorporations, and a level of gaslighting that left legal experts baffled. But the headline that would scream across the tabloids wasn't about the math. It was about the moment Lauryn "Pumpkin" Efird, the matriarch of the next generation of reality TV's most chaotic family, took the stand and hammered the final nail into Kitchens' coffin. When Judge Harrison T. Miller finally brought the gavel down, the echo rang out like a gunshot. The sentence was swift and merciless, 35 years in federal prison. But to understand how we got here, we have to rewind the tape. Darrin Kitchens appeared in the family's orbit quietly in late 2022. Following the tumultuous years of Mama June's addiction battles and the family's frantic struggle to maintain their reality TV empire, Kitchens presented himself as a savior. He wasn't a flashy Hollywood agent. He was a local fixer, a man who claimed to specialize in distressed assets for high-profile Southern families. He drove a modest truck, wore off-the-rack suits, and spoke with a calm reassurance that appealed to Josh and Pumpkin, who were overwhelmed by raising 4 children and caring for Alana, Honey Boo Boo Thompson. He came in when we were drowning, a source close to the family revealed. He told Pumpkin, "You focus on the kids and the show. I'll handle the IRS, the contracts, and the future." He was like an uncle to them. Prosecutors alleged that this uncle persona was a carefully crafted mask. Within 6 months of gaining power of attorney, Kitchens had allegedly set up 3 shell companies: DK Management, Peach State Holdings, and Efird Trust Partners. According to the prosecution, these weren't savings accounts. They were funnels. The trial, State of Georgia versus Darrin Kitchens, opened a Pandora's box of financial ruin. Assistant District Attorney Ellen Vance laid out a timeline that was staggering in its audacity. Kitchens allegedly diverts $450,000 of Alana's appearance fees into Peach State Holdings, claiming it was for tax sheltering. A mortgage refinancing deal on the Efird family home is signed. Pumpkin believed she was lowering her interest rate. In reality, Kitchens had allegedly stripped $200,000 of equity out of the property. The merch scandal. Kitchens reportedly organized a massive merchandise drop for the family's brand. While fans paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, the manufacturers were never paid. Kitchens allegedly pocketed the gross revenue, leaving the Efirds to face lawsuits from angry vendors. He didn't just steal the cream off the top, Vance told the jury. He was scraping the barrel. He was stealing money meant for college tuition, for braces, for groceries. The defense team, led by attorney Marcus Thorne, tried to paint a different picture. They argued that the reality stars were big spenders who couldn't keep track of their own finances. Thorne suggested that Kitchens was a fall guy for a family that lived beyond its means and needed someone to blame when the tax bill came due. Darrin Kitchens worked tirelessly for this family, Thorne argued in his opening statement. He tried to plug holes in a sinking ship. Now they want to throw him overboard. It was a compelling narrative, until Pumpkin walked into the courtroom. On the 4th day of the trial, the courtroom was packed. Lauryn Efird was sworn in. She looked different than she does on TikTok. No filters, no jokes. She wore a simple black dress and gripped the railing of the witness stand until her knuckles turned white. Prosecutor Vance asked her gently, "When did you first suspect Darrin was lying to you?" Pumpkin took a shaky breath. It was Alana's tuition. We had saved. We had worked so hard to make sure she broke the cycle. When the school called and said the check bounced, I called Darrin. He told me it was a bank error. He told me to stop worrying. And did you stop worrying? No, Pumpkin said, her voice hardening. I went to the bank. Not the one Darrin set up for us. I went to the main branch. And the manager told me I didn't have access to my own accounts. My name was on them. But Darrin had set up a 2-signature requirement and he had the token. The most explosive moment came during cross-examination. The defense attorney asked Pumpkin if she had signed the documents authorizing the transfers. I signed whatever he put in front of me. Pumpkin yelled, standing up. Because he told me if I didn't, Josh would go to jail. He told me the IRS was coming for us. He used my fear against me. Turning to look directly at Kitchens, who sat stone-faced at the defense table, she shouted, "You ate dinner at my table. You held my babies. And the whole time you were stealing the food out of their mouths." The judge had to call for a recess to restore order. If Pumpkin's emotional testimony was the heart of the case, the Exhibit 44B audio recording was the dagger. Unbeknownst to Kitchens, Josh Efird had installed a security camera in their home office 3 months prior to the arrest. The prosecution played a video from March 2024. In the grainy footage, Kitchens is seen on the phone, pacing the room while Pumpkin is out of the house. Kitchens on tape. "Yeah, the well is running dry. I think I can get 1 more season's worth of checks out of them before they wise up." Pumpkin is too busy fighting with the trolls on the internet to check the ledger. I'll move the last $50K to the Cayman account on Friday. The courtroom went dead silent. The jurors looked from the screen to Kitchens, whose face had drained of all color. There was no financial management defense for that statement. It was a confession of predatory intent. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. As the foreman read the verdict, guilty echoed 17 times. Kitchens stared at the table, refusing to look at the gallery where the Efird family sat, holding hands. Judge Miller did not hold back during sentencing. Mr. Kitchens, the judge began, adjusting his spectacles. In my 20 years on the bench, I have seen drug dealers, murderers, and thieves. But rarely have I seen a predator who embeds himself into a family like a parasite. You preyed on their lack of financial sophistication. You preyed on their trust. The judge continued, you didn't just steal money. You stole their peace of mind. For the callous nature of these crimes and the sheer volume of the theft, totaling over $2.4 million, I am sentencing you to the maximum penalty. The gallery gasped. It was a sentence usually reserved for violent criminals or cartel leaders. As the bailiffs handcuffed Kitchens, he finally broke his silence, shouting, "It's a setup? The network is behind this. You'll see." He was dragged out the side door, his protest fading into the hallway. Outside the courthouse, the scene was a media circus. Pumpkin, flanked by Josh and Alana, stepped up to the microphones. "I'm not happy," Pumpkin said, her eyes hidden behind sunglasses. "There's no happiness in this. He took years of our hard work. But I am relieved. He thought because we were rednecks or reality stars that we were stupid. He thought we wouldn't fight back. He was wrong." Josh Efird added, "This closes the chapter. We are starting over. We are rebuilding. But we're doing it on our own terms this time." Legal analysts suggest that while the criminal trial is over, the civil recovery will be difficult. Much of the money is gone, spent on Kitchens' gambling debts and luxury cars that have since been seized. However, the trial has had an unexpected side effect. It has redeemed the family's image in the public eye. For years, fans criticized Pumpkin for grifting or pushing products online. Now, the public understands the desperation. She was working to fill a bucket that had a hole in the bottom. As Darrin Kitchens begins his first night in a 6x8 cell at the Valdosta Correctional Annex, the Efird family went home. They ordered pizza, turned off the cameras, and for the first time in 2 years, slept without wondering if the bank was going to foreclose on their house. The verdict, false. After a comprehensive review of Georgia court records, Department of Corrections databases, and verified entertainment news outlets as of November 2025, we can confirm that Darrin Kitchens is a free man with no such criminal conviction. The rumor appears to be a sophisticated piece of Frankenstein clickbait, a fake story stitched together from 3 unrelated real events involving the Shannon/Efird family. This report details exactly how this hoax was created and what is actually happening. To understand why this story is spreading, we must look at the specific claims and where they actually came from. The viral story relies on narrative stacking, taking a shocking fact about one person and attaching it to the name of a more famous person. The rumor: Darrin Kitchens was secretly arrested and given a 35-year sentence for undisclosed crimes. The reality: this sentence belongs to Raymond Lamb, not Darrin Kitchens. The connection: Raymond Lamb is the ex-husband of Jennifer Lamb, Sugar Bear's wife/ex-wife, who appeared on Mama June, From Not to Hot. The crime: Raymond Lamb was convicted of serious crimes involving a minor and sentenced to 35 years in prison. The switch: gossip vloggers often use the phrase 35-year prison sentence for Mama June star's ex in headlines. Because Pumpkin is the current focus of the show, algorithms and misled fans conflated Jennifer's ex with Pumpkin's boyfriend, transferring the sentence to Darrin. The rumor: Pumpkin took the stand in a criminal trial to ensure Darrin was locked up. The reality: this is a distortion of Pumpkin's divorce court proceedings. In September 2024, Pumpkin finalized her divorce from her husband, Josh Efird. The court documents were real, but they were civil, not criminal. There was no testimony against anyone. They agreed to a settlement. Clickbait videos use footage of Pumpkin walking into a courthouse, from the divorce or Mama June's past trials and overlay it with narration about Darrin. The rumor: Darrin was exposed for a dark double life. The reality: the only thing Darrin was exposed for was his family tree. In mid-2025, it was revealed on Mama June Family Crisis that Darrin Kitchens is Josh Efird's step-cousin, specifically, the nephew of Josh's stepfather. This revelation caused a massive feud between Pumpkin, Josh, and Mama June. The ink ain't even dry. While this is messy reality TV drama, it is not illegal. Here is the verified sequence of events involving Pumpkin, Josh, and Darrin, cleared of all internet rumors. Lauryn Pumpkin Efird files for divorce from Josh Efird in Wilkinson County, Georgia. The filing cites the marriage is irretrievably broken. Josh's exit: Josh moves out of the family home. In a dramatic scene aired later, he leaves a note accusing Pumpkin of moving on too quickly. Custody: joint legal and physical custody of their 4 children, Ella, Bentley, Silas, Stella. Money: both parties waive the right to child support. Pumpkin keeps the leased house. Josh takes his personal truck and belongings. Pumpkin goes Instagram official with Darrin Kitchens. She posts photos from a Wetzel concert, captioning them "My Happy Place." The clean record: check. In an exclusive interview with People magazine, Pumpkin explicitly mentions that Darrin is sweet, does things without asking, and notes he has no criminal record, a pointed dig at the men her mother, Mama June, usually dates. Mama June confronts Pumpkin about dating Josh's cousin. Pumpkin defends Darrin: "He treats me better than I've ever been treated. I'm putting myself first for once." If you see a video titled Darrin Kitchens' Sentencing Hearing, look closely at the details. The judge: is it a familiar face? Often, these videos use stock footage or clips from the Gino Doke, Mama June's ex, sentencing. The charges: does the video fail to name the specific penal code violation? Fake news often uses vague terms like felony behavior without specifics. The source: verified news outlets like TMZ, Page 6, or People Have Zero reports on Darrin Kitchens facing prison time. The story of Darrin Kitchens serving 35 years is a hoax. Darrin Kitchens, currently dating Pumpkin, free, no criminal record. Josh Efird, co-parenting with Pumpkin, living separately. The 35 years refers to Raymond Lamb, unrelated to Pumpkin's current life. Pumpkin continues to film for WeTV, and her storyline currently focuses on her post-divorce independence and navigating co-parenting with Josh while dating Darrin. Next step: would you like me to find the specific episode number where the cousin reveal happened so you can watch the actual drama yourself?